What's up, family? Hope you all are good today. I pray that things are great for you. Happy Tuesday to those of you who are joining us live. I hope you're coming into this virtual room tonight with excitement and enthusiasm about spiritual education and enlightenment through the Word of God. Go ahead, if you can, and drop an emoji to let me know how you're feeling tonight. Go ahead and drop that emoji to let the Word Therapy crew know how you are feeling tonight. We have formed a community during the time we have been gathering, and I want to make sure that we are checking in on one another. We're starting a new series on relationships tonight called What Matters Most, that I'm excited to share with you, because I believe that relationship is a key theological cornerstone of our faith. That the reason God created us was to be in relationship with us. So I'm excited about tonight's teaching. Just a couple of things. I want you to be a digital evangelist. We want to reach as many as possible, to teach and encourage as many as possible through the Word of God. One way you can help us do that is to press that like button and that subscribe button. I don't need you to press that to show me that you like me, but I need you to do that because it helps us to increase our presence on people's feeds. It's a way that you can contribute to the algorithm. When you do that, you're positioning other people to be blessed who would not otherwise know that we're on this platform. We also want you to share this with those who may come to your mind who could benefit from this. Remember, we are edifiers of one another. So make sure as concepts and ideas go forth tonight that are sticky statements for you, statements that stand out to you, I want you to put that in the chat. Why? Because some people are visual learners. So please make sure you serve as an electronic edifier as you post points and concepts in the chat. Listen, I'm ready to jump into this lesson, so let's assume a posture of prayer. God, we thank you for this night. Thank you, God, for yet another opportunity to gather. Thank you for all that you continue to do to lead us and guide us in all truth. We pray, God, that you would impart to us that very truth, that knowledge, that wisdom, oh God, that we can apply to our lives so that, God, we can live the lives that you so desire us to live. We thank you, God. We love you. We give your name the honor, the glory, and the praise. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. So tonight, I want to talk about who's on your team. Psychologists say that there are 5 levels of relationships. The first level of relationship is the cliche level. You're probably familiar with the cliche level. That is when you give programmed responses or you have programmed questions. Like, how's the weather? Or how are you doing today? Did you watch that special on TV last night? I like what you're wearing. There's a level of relationships that are just on the cliche level. It's programmed questions. Then you have the gossip level. And these are the people that, you get together with, and you know what you do. You talk about people. We may as well be honest tonight. Y'all know I'm right about it. There are certain people you get with, and as soon as y'all get together for lunch at the coffee shop or at church, wherever y'all get together, y'all talk about people. And so there's a group of people you can go and gossip with. And then you have the testing the water level. This is the people you give your dreams to, people who you share your ideas with. It is the testing the water level where you're trying to see if this can possibly go to a more meaningful level, but you're still cautious because you don't want to get hurt. And then you have the passionate level. And the passionate level is when you share true thoughts and true emotions with individuals because you know they will not reject you. Even if you make a mistake, they're going to be right there with you. It is a passionate type of relationship where there's an established level of commitment. But then the ultimate level is the spiritual level, where you are one with a person in mind. You are one with a person when it comes to heart, and you are one with a particular person when it comes to purpose. And so there are different levels of relationships that you have with individuals. In fact, Jesus had different levels of relationship as well. You'll remember he had a relationship with the masses. And it was the masses who had no intention of following him. They just wanted his miracles, and they also wanted to hear him preach and teach. This was the masses level, and he had a relationship with them. And then Jesus had a relationship with the 500. You remember after Jesus resurrected from the grave, he allowed the 500 to spend 40 days with him. It was 40 days that they were witnesses of his glorified body. So there must have been a level of trust that he had for this 500 to have that kind of relationship with them. Then he had a relationship with the 120. Remember, he told the 120 to go to Jerusalem and wait in the upper room and to pray for the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. And they obeyed him, and they tarried there for some 9 to 10 days praying for the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. And so there was a level of relationship he had with the 120 because they obeyed him. And then you remember the 70. Y'all remember the 70. He sends the 70 out basically to preach and to heal. So the 70 got involved with his ministry. They got involved with his vision. So that was the level of relationship that he had with the 70. And then, of course, he had a relationship with the 12. And the 12, that's his posse. Those were his boys. They forsook everything, left their jobs, left their family to live with him for 3 years. And they would ultimately be the cream of the crop of individuals who would carry the torch in proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ. And watch this, even in the 12, he had 3, Peter, James, and John. He took Peter, James, and John to places he did not take the 12. And what he's teaching us is that you have relationships with a lot of people on different levels. The people who touch up your hair this week, ladies, you spend a lot of time and hours in that chair when you were getting your hair touched up, though. So you have a relationship with the hairdresser. You got a relationship with your banker, your financial advisor, the teacher who teaches your kids on a daily basis, elected officials in the area that you live. You have a relationship with them. Your neighbors, your friends, your spouse, your boo, your bae. You have relationships on different levels. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that relationships matter. Now, here's the problem. The problem occurs when you share with a person who's on the cliche level things you should have shared with a person who's on the passionate level. Here's the issue. I'm trying to set it up. The reason why many of us are heartbroken, the reason why many of us get hurt is because we confuse associates with friends. Reasons why we get hurt is because sometimes we get it confused and don't deal with the right people on the right level. Are y'all with me so far? You do know everybody is not supposed to stay in your life. Did you all not know that sometimes you might have somebody to come over, for instance, you might have somebody to come over to your house. It might be a contractor. You want to update the kitchen. You want to paint the walls a different color. You're trying to get the bathroom more modernized. And they come in and they bring their equipment. You don't really know them. You don't know where they live. You don't know their family. And after the job is done, you're probably not going to see them anymore. Why? Because there are people just like that who come into your life for a season to help build things in your life. Sometimes we try to hold on to folk who were just supposed to show up for a season to help build up certain areas of your life. Are y'all getting this tonight? And so what happens a lot of times when you get hurt, when it comes to relationships, let me tell you what you do. You say, that's why I don't fool up with nobody's now. When you get hurt in relationships and somebody says something that you don't like, you close yourself off. And that's why when we were coming out to the building and we were coming to church and coming to worship, you would just come to church and you would go home. You come to church and you go home. And you come to church and you go home because you say, I'm not trying to deal with church folk. And I'm with you because I don't want to deal with church people either. But you ought to want to deal with Christians. Hear me now, because everybody who's a church person is not a Christian. But if I'm your brother and if I'm your sister in the Lord, then you ought to want to spend some time with me. And the enemy will convince us, just come get your word, just come sing, get your praise on. Even when it's safe for us to come back, some of us will be tempted to stay home, not because of health concerns, but because we've gotten so comfortable staying at home watching, so we don't want to have to deal with church people. But you can't be like that. That was never the purpose of God. God never wanted it to be that way because relationships are key and important to the fruitful growth of your faith. And if you're not availing yourself to relationships with other Christians, you're going to stunt your growth. So what I want to do tonight is share with you from the scriptures why relationships are so important. So let's jump into it. Let's go to Mark chapter 3, verse 13. Mark chapter 3, verse 13 in the New International Version. It says, Jesus went up on a mountainside and called to him those he wanted, and they came to him. He appointed 12 that they might be with him and that he might send them out to preach and to have authority to drive out demons. Okay, now what I want to do is to give you about 5 things that will set the foundation for this series. And it's going to really bless us in a great way about this business of relationships. First of all, jot this down. Relationships are important to accomplishing your life purpose. Let me say it again. Relationships are important to accomplishing your life purpose. If you're going to reach your destiny, if you're going to accomplish your life purpose, you're going to need some meaningful relationships. You're going to need relationships on every level. We're going to talk about that in a minute because relationships are critical in you reaching your destiny and you becoming who you need to become and you reaching your life purpose. That's how God set it up. So let me give you something you need when it comes to relationships. You ready? Number 1, you need a model. You need a model. In fact, jot this down real quick. You need someone who will be an inspiring example. That's what a model is. As Christians, Jesus Christ is our model. He shows us what it means to be Christ-like. Can I help you with something that maybe you don't know? If you don't have a model, you will never reach your destination. If you don't have a model, you'll never reach your purpose. We always build from a model. Think about this. Children talk because they have a model. They start off goo goo gaga, but But one of the first words they end up saying is mama or dad, because as parents, we model that. We speak those words to them, and eventually they begin to speak words back to us. They have a model who showed them how to eat, a model who showed them how to walk. This is what I want to help you with. If you're going to reach your destiny, you need models. You need somebody who's in front of you, who can help you to get to where you need to get to. You know, I didn't just learn how to be a pastor in isolation. I had and still do have models. People I look up to who have been doing it for a long time and doing it effectively. I have to have models in order to know how to effectively lead the people that God has entrusted to me. I studied models. I studied ministries because of where I'm trying to take the people of God. Does that make sense? You need a model in your life. Let me give you something else. You need mentors. It's real big. You need an executive committee of coaches. An executive committee of coaches who will show you how. You need an executive committee of coaches. Notice I did not say commentators. I said coaches, because most folks are commentators. They want to sit on the sideline and say, well, this is what you ought to be doing rather than doing that. You're not doing it. Why did you do it like that? And if I was you, I would have did it this way. That's not a coach. That's a commentator. You need a coach. You need somebody who will tell you, come on, you got to keep your elbow in. That's why you keep missing free throws, because your elbow is out like this, and you got to keep it in. That's basketball coaching for those who don't know. But in a similar way, no matter what it is that you're trying to do, you need mentors. You need an executive committee of individuals around you who can help you to become who you need to become. And watch this. Can I tell you the difference between a coach and a commentator? A coach would not allow you to settle for being better than other people. But a coach will push you to your God-given potential. Because when you get to heaven, God is not going to judge you based upon you outrunning somebody else. God is going to say, did you run the race that was set before you? And you need a coach in your life. Come on, y'all. Why do you think that the Bears have all those coaches in the locker room? Can I tell you why? Because they want to bring the best out of their players. And not only do they want to bring the best out of their players, they want their players to reach their full potential. So you need a coach. You need a financial coach. You already have a spiritual coach. I'm your spiritual coach. But you ought to have a financial coach. You ought to have a fitness coach. You need a professional coach. You need an executive group of individuals in your life that will coach you. Let me give you another one. You need partners. Partners are people who are called to get in and help you accomplish your vision. You need some people in your life who are partners who will help you to accomplish your vision. Covenant United Church of Christ is where it is today because when Reverend Isaac got started, he got some partners, those charter members who didn't only just believe in the vision, they believed in him. And they came alongside him to help him to do what God had called him to do. And if we are going to continue to go to the next level, those who are part of the covenant family, we have to be in partnership. We have to come in agreement concerning the vision that God has given us. Can I give you another person in your life? You need a friend. Don't need a whole lot of them. Let me just help you with that. You don't need a whole lot of friends, but you do need a friend you can trust. You need a best friend. Do you know why you need a best friend? Because a best friend helps you to be the best. You need somebody who's going to help you to be the best and who's going to encourage you, but will tell you when you're wrong. Are y'all hearing me tonight? Because everybody else cheering for you, you're this and you're that. But you need a friend who's going to tell you when you're out of order and let you pout for a week. Somebody who will say to you, go on and pout for a week. I'm going to give you your space and I'll be right here when you're done. Because that's what a friend does. See, a real friend, you don't have to talk to them every day. You can talk to them 3 weeks later and y'all will just pick back up where you left off. You need a friend in your life. All I'm trying to say is that if you're going to reach your purpose, you need relationships. If you're going to accomplish what God has called you to do, you need an executive committee of individuals who could help you to get to the next level, because we are all turtles on the fence post, which means that if you ever see a turtle on a fence post, his legs are too short to get there by himself. He didn't climb up there by himself. Somebody helped him to get where he is. And what I want to submit to you tonight is that no person is an island. And we have to break that stronghold of isolation, because that was never God's original intent. In the first book of the Bible, this is what God told Adam in Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. It says, "The Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." Let me give you something else about relationships. Relationships should add to your life and not subtract from it. The relationships you're in, they should add to your life and not subtract from it. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17. Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Ooh, that's powerful right there. The people in your life should sharpen you. The people in your life should help you to be on point. It's kind of like a pencil. You don't put lead in the pencil, but there's a pencil sharpener that helps bring out of the pencil what's already in the pencil. And there ought to be some people in your life that serve as pencil sharpeners for you, that will help bring out of you what's already in you, so you can be on point and you can write what God has put in you. Encourage somebody in the chat. Tell them you have a story to write. Yes, you've got something to write, and many of us can't write it because our lives are not on point. But people will help you. Now let's look at this, because the Bible says that the disciples of Jesus were unlearned, unschooled men. Let's look at it. Acts chapter 4, verse 13. Verse 13. It says, when they saw the courage of Peter and John and realized that they were unschooled, ordinary men, they were astonished. And they took note that these men had been with Jesus. In fact, Matthew was a tax collector. And in those days, you didn't want to be a tax collector because, they were ruthless. They were gouging prices, and basically they would get to the top by stepping on people, and then you already know that they lack confidence, and we know that they lack confidence because they deserted Jesus Christ. Not only that, we discover that Peter was very impulsive. One day he's with Jesus, the next day he was denying him. He was kind of shaky, and God, who is omniscient, meaning God is all knowing, he still picked him. He picked them despite their deficiencies. He picked them despite their weaknesses. He called them despite them being unschooled, despite them being unlearned, and he called them, watch this, to be with him. I'm in Mark chapter 3, verse 14, in the New International Version. Let me read it to you. He appointed 12 that they might be with him and that he might send them out to preach. This is powerful. The Bible says he called them to be with him. Unschooled, but you're going to be with him. Unlearned, but you're going to be with him. You have deficiencies, but you're going to be with him. What is the relationship revelation in that? The reason why we have problems with them is because we don't spend enough time with him. Did you hear what I just said? If you spend more time with him, he will teach you how to deal with them. See, that's the power in the symbol of the cross. It has a vertical plank and it has a horizontal plank, meaning that if you get this relationship right, this relationship will be right as well. And oftentimes this relationship reveals that this relationship is not right. Because if your relationship is right with him, he will teach you how to communicate with them. He will teach you how to interact with them. Y'all don't like none of this, but I'll say it again. If you spend more time with him, he will teach you how to deal with them. Them can be a liar. Them can be a betrayer. Them can be a thief. If you spend some time with him, him will teach you how to deal with them. And even though they were unlearned, even though they were unschooled, he poured into them. Even though they were unlearned and unschooled and they didn't have this and they didn't have that, he poured into them because he knew that they would become responsible proteges. He knew that eventually these 12 would be responsible people because he had spent time with them. This is what I'm trying to say. If the people who you're hanging around are not making you better, you may be hanging with the wrong people. Because the people who you hang around, they should sharpen you. They should make you better. They shouldn't let you just pout. They shouldn't let you talk to people crazy and get away with that. They should challenge you. Okay, let me see if I can help you. Y'all remember David? David was anointed to be the king. David was going to be the king of Israel. This is powerful, so don't miss it. He was anointed to be the king of Israel. But remember, he was the son of a man who tended sheep, which means that he had never spent any time in a castle. So he knew nothing about being a king. He didn't know how to conduct himself as a king at the table because David spent his time dealing with sheep. But he was anointed to be the king. He had never been behind the castle walls. He didn't have a cheat sheet on how to be a king. He didn't have a playbook on how to be a king. But what he did have was a relationship with a man who was the son of a king. And that man's name was Jonathan. Now, Jonathan spent time in the castle with the king. David didn't have that privilege. But because Jonathan had a relationship with David, Jonathan basically prepared David to get ready for what's going to happen when he got behind the wall. What I'm trying to get you to see is you will never become David until you find yourself a Jonathan. Oh, y'all better get this tonight. You must find a Jonathan. You have to have somebody who can build you up, because there's some stuff that's going on behind the wall that you have no clue about. But if you got somebody who can give you a cheat sheet, if you get somebody who can give you the cliff notes, that's why you ought to treat folk right, because that person that you're treating wrong just might be your Jonathan. You need to treat them right, because what they know you might need in order to get you ready for what God is getting ready to do in your life. Here's something else. Relationships should make up for your weaknesses. Reason why relationships matter, and the reason why you need relationships, is because relationships make up for your weaknesses. Now, Jesus came here to save the lost, right? He came to save the lost. That was his purpose. I came here to seek and to save the lost. That was his purpose. The first thing he did was to get some people to come around him. What is interesting is that the people that he got around him weren't like him. See, Jesus understood that he was going to be going back and forth across the water. So he said, I better get someone in my crew who knows how to navigate the waters. So we think he just took Simon Peter, but that was actually strategic, because what he was doing, he was supplementing his weaknesses. He was making certain that he had somebody on his team who understood boats and water. He didn't have time to buy a boat or to learn about boating. He was trying to fulfill his purpose, trying to fulfill his mission. He said, no, I'm going to find me someone who already has a boat, who already has some skills, because the relationships in your life make up for your weaknesses. Let me tell you, the reason why great achievers succeed is because they are aware of their limitations. Can I tell you that one of the greatest acknowledgments you can make is to admit when you are weak? It is not a strength to be weak in the area and act like you're strong in it. That's insecurity. Are y'all with me? That is insecurity. When you can't admit, I'm weak in this area and I need to put around me people who have strengths in that area that I'm weak in. Let me tell you something that you may not know, and this may mess you up. You don't have all the gifts. I know some of y'all think you can do it all. Superman, Superwoman, you cannot. Let me show it to you. Let's go to Romans chapter 12, verse 6. Romans chapter 12, verse 6. This is a good verse. We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully. Whatever your gift is, do it. Whatever God has called you to do, you need to do it, because the world becomes better, the community gets better, the church gets stronger when you use your gift. Whatever weaknesses somebody else has, they are covered because of your strength. People fill gaps. People are links in the chain, and we can't be strong as we could be unless everybody is doing their part and using their gift. Let me give you something else. Watch this. Relationships should help you to get more done. You heard the adage that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run with people. If you want to run fast, run far, run with people. That's why some folks start off real quick and then a couple of days later, they quit. Because you need people around you to go the distance. You need people around you who can help you to get more done. How do we know we can get more done? Let's look at Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse number 9. Let's look at it. It says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. Do you see it? 2 people are better than 1. 2 people can accomplish more than 1 person if they're working together, if they're on the same page. When we work together, we can accomplish more. We can do more. We can help more people. We can do more together. And I know we can do more together because a couple of years back at the house, we had a problem with these ants coming into the house. Couldn't figure out for the life of us where these ants were coming from, but they kept on showing up. And Antonia, she wasn't having it. So I tried my own little remedies. I had to get, my little bait traps and foggers and all that kind of stuff. And it worked for a while, but then they would show up again. So we called the pest control guy. He walked around the house. He put a little spray down, all that kind of stuff. And now we don't have ants. Do you know why? I needed pest control because I couldn't do it by myself. I needed somebody to come and work with me to solve the problem. And the guy gave me his card and said, "Let me be your pest control." And I got to thinking about that, and I discovered a life principle in that. Every now and then, you and I, we need pest controllers in our lives. You need folk who will confront pests that try to infiltrate situations. Because it's not the woodpeckers that will destroy something, it's the termites you can't see. Oh, God, help me tonight. And whenever there is a person, whether it's on your job, in your family, in the church, that's trying to kill the vision, that's trying to destroy the vision, you don't need to be doing all of that. And they don't need to be doing this, and they don't need to go in that direction. There ought to be somebody who can say, "I'll be a pest controller." There ought to be some people who say, "I see what you're trying to do, but it's not going to go down like that." Are y'all getting this? All I'm saying is that we can get more done when we do things together. Let me say one more thing and we'll wrap it up for tonight. Relationships should help you to get back on your feet. Ecclesiastes 4 and 9 again, and verse 10 in the Message translation. It says, "It's better to have a partner than to go at it alone. Share the work, share the wealth, and if one falls down, the other helps. But if there's no one to help, tough." You remember when Jesus resurrected from the grave? He asked, "Where's Peter?" The Bible says Peter had gone fishing. He basically went back to doing what he was doing before he met Jesus. And Jesus says, "No, go get him." In fact, Jesus went to get him. Jesus went to get Peter. I love this, y'all. And he got Peter back to where he was supposed to be. And you already know the story. Peter became a Pentecost preacher. But when he made a mistake, because he had a relationship, it was God who helped him to get back on his feet. What does that mean for us? I want you to catch this. Many of our dreams are dying, catch this, or they are slow to manifest. Either your dream is dying or it's slow to manifest. Do you know why? Because we're not in relationships. Because relationships are insurance policies. When you have a relationship with people, they won't let your dream die. When you have a relationship with people, they will show up to encourage you, To say you have not been called to just be a fisherman. You have been called to be a fisher of men. And when you have a relationship with people, when you're feeling sluggish, and when you want to go back to doing what you used to do, they are insurance policies. They will go into their pocket. They will go into their Rolodex in order to help you to become what God has called you to become. And the reason why so many of us either the dream is dying or it's not moving the way that it needs to move is because you don't have a hidden support group to help you to be what you need to be. Because if you had the right people around you, you'll be a lot further. If you had the right people around you who had resources in the areas that you didn't have, you'd be a lot further. But the devil has convinced you you don't need nobody. The devil has convinced you, and I'm going to talk about this probably next week, that you're not intentional on who you selected to be around you. So as a result, you look like your crowd. As a result, everybody you hang with, you feed them. And you wonder why you're so drained. It's because you're not eating. Listen, you need to be in a room where you have to be quiet and people have to pour into you. Because when you get poured into, you can come back and pour into another generation. You go faster, you go farther when you have relationships. When you are intentional on developing relationships, and the enemy has convinced us you don't need nobody. You can do this by yourself. You can't. You need mentors. You need models. You need partners. You need friends. You need an executive committee. You are a business. Did you hear me? You are a business, and every business has a think tank. Every business has an executive board that helps them to do what they have been called to do. So tonight, arrest the spirit of isolation and start developing relationships. If Jesus couldn't do life by himself, then neither can you. We need relationships. Let's pray. God, we thank you that when you created us with the explicit purpose of having powerful and effectual relationship with us. God, within yourself, you model what relationship looks like in the relationship that exists between God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that trinity of relationship. Thank you, God, for modeling for us the fact that we need relationships in our lives. We cannot do life alone. We have to connect with others, and it is in connecting with others that we grow into the purpose for which you have called us. And so, God, tonight we arrest the spirit of isolation. We arrest that spirit that says, I have to go at life by myself. No, God, send people, the right people, into our lives that we might go about doing your work in the earth and growing into the call, the destiny, and the purpose that you have placed in our lives. God, we believe that you're already sending those people. You're already sending the resources. Open us. Open our hearts and our spirits to receive the gift that you're sending to us this day. We thank you for it in advance. And it is in the mighty, the matchless, and the merciful name of Jesus that we do pray. And all the redeemed of the Lord said, amen. Listen, thank you for joining me on this journey tonight. I hope this has been a blessing to you. I pray that it has expanded and perhaps reoriented your thinking in this area of relationships. Listen, each week we give people an opportunity to respond in worship with generosity to sow back into the field from which you have been harvesting, to ensure that this teaching continues to go forth so that others can be helped, healed, and made whole. Thank you for your faith response tonight, believing that God honors your generosity and your faith. The lower third is on the screen. Please use any of the options that are available to you. Listen, we want you to join us again on next Tuesday. We're going to lean in a little more on this relationship piece. Can't wait to connect with you again. Listen, I love you in the Lord, and I love you to life. Be blessed. Have an incredible week.